Hey everyone, it's Mad along with Goo, and today we're going to talk about all of the new units coming in today, focusing on Famed Schleiman Tank, which is a very powerful unit, but we also are going to get a uh, two free units along with the new event and another free unit with another very large dungeon event as well. So stay tuned and learn everything that we have to learn. Welcome. This is Goo's favorite unit, the famed Schillman tank, and we're just gonna call him our Goo Tank. He's such a good tank. Uh Goo Tank here is leadership effects probably the least useful overall. Its leadership effect increases physical skill power by 10% is good but not fantastic. And really, this is going to be one of the last times that I talk about a good versus, just good instead of really good overall. First skill, Smoke Grenade, 2 to 4 range, inflicts martial damage to all enemies and sometimes will dazzle. Very useful skill. Fusillade is a major martial damage to an enemy, same range as a smoke grenade. The Fusillade is going to do a lot more damage compared to the smoke grenade. And the last skill is Slime Cannon, which does large bag type physical damage to all enemies and occasionally lower physical resistance for 3 turns. It's a very powerful Slime Cannon. Um, it is a very useful skill, uh, but in all honesty, more than likely, Fusillade is going to be the main skill that I will be using, and Slime Cannon is another really, really nice overall damage. Its first awakening skill can auto attack with long range artillery. Just think of this like a slightly more powerful version of Metal Dragon ability. This is one of the things where Slime Tank really needs to get this first awakening skill to really make it pop in battle. This is the only what I would call weakness for this unit is it really needs this in order for it to do the massive damage that it's designed to do. Second one is first resistance plus 25. The third awakening is actually really damaging in arena. So if you're fighting against a third awakened tank, do not use spellcasters against this. It will cast Reflect 2 turns at the beginning of the battle and gives the Slime Cannon plus 5%. Sizzle resistance at 4. And the fifth one will occasionally increase physical skill power for 1 turn and Slime Cannon. Personally, for unless if you're just 5 hearted everything, the most you probably really should go for is the 3 hearts. Anything beyond that is just excessive, which is still okay. I mean, sizzle resistance is fine, but that third heart is really where most of that insane power really is going to be coming from. Um, very, very, very powerful unit overall. All right, for its stats. When you're thinking tanks, you're thinking HP and defense, and this just does not disappoint. Goo Tank here is loaded with HP and defense, and because 2 of its 3 major attacks are martial, attack 351 isn't as big of a deal. Its MP 461 is pretty good overall, and its agility is a little slow at 330. This is its other semi weakness that does get overcome, but it takes it a little while to move a little faster. Theoretically, its movement is 2, but it can go faster, and I'll tell you during this pros. But it has a unique ability that on odd turns will increase the agility and movement, and it will allow it at basically turn 5 to move it to, or turn 3 even, to move it fast and have very good agility. but the agility does not get added onto it till its turn. So, turn one, it is a fairly slow unit, which actually you could use to your benefit in Arena by having it go second or last in Arena so that it can actually attack. And then on the second turn, it will actually potentially have enough agility for it to move up faster so that you can then attack second and make sure that it doesn't take as much damage, even though with the HP and defense, you kind of want it out there as quickly as you can, especially if you have it 3 hearts and you're facing a spell team with Reflect. You don't care. It is very, very strong against damage at that point. The preferred weapon, you could go a lot of spaces here. And this is actually going to be one of the most difficult units to give. There's going to be a slime claw that will actually come out with this as well. That is really well designed for the tank. But if you can get a little bit of agility into Lollipop and just even with more HP, that's all you really need. Kind of depends on how much HP it has. The physical power 2%. It just turns it into an absolute monster of a tank that will have enough speed to be able to get to where you need to go and gives you physical power plus 2% as well. All in all, this is really hard. You can also try to go just with agility. There's other slime weapons that you can also use with it. So you could just use claws. You can go with a bang attack. There's just a lot of different ways here. If I get the Goo Tank, I will probably have the Lollipop focus for it. I would look for, probably 1 high agility and 2 HP or physical power upgrades. If I could get like a nice 15 agility and 1 HP on top of that, I'm looking at a 1250, 1300 HP, 350 agility, which will allow it to go in the middle of most arena teams in the first round and then make it go much faster in the second round and go first, because I don't want it to be super agility. That's kind of my game plan for it, and just give it really brute force tanking ability. But others might want to just go first and just plow through and say, here I am, take me out, because, well, it's the tank. Arena, you've already got the defense down to begin with, and along with defense of 490 and HP in the already 1100, very, very hard to take down. So normally I kind of go, here's the preferred weapons, pretty easy. The tank can go in a lot of different directions based on its weapon. And honestly, you're not just looking for an attack on this. You're looking for other stats, which allows you to really make the unit yours. So in Arena, you might expect, oh, this tank's just going to be tanky. There could be a one that goes really fast, another one that has really high defense, and just take 0 damage. Very hard to plan out for the tank in Arena, which makes it a fun and also annoying unit to go against. It's learned skills. I'm going with, because it can counter, something that can either lower your power of an enemy, increase your own power. I've also got like the attacker as one of the examples here. Even a defense down skill would be also very useful. You're looking for a little bit of putting some support on the tank, and really any type of support on the tank would work. It is not a great healer, just because of its wisdom is fairly low, but something of a debuff or a skill that has a debuff attached to it is really what you're looking for. As this unit just has great overall attack, and you're going to want to use it as an artillery instead of a main tank going in there. I was hoping this would have been called like the slime artillery or something instead of the goo. Well, I'm gonna call it the goo tank, just because then people would understand that they should be focusing it on the tank side, or sorry, a little farther away than being like a pure tank. It's okay if you're going to have it tank one enemy. It just reduces its effectiveness, especially if you have it one heart to do its follow up attack, which is really, really powerful. Um, so the pros cons pull very, very high stats for an attacker, especially in the HP and defense department. It's incredibly useful in that regards. Um, it can increase speed and mobility for 3 turns on odd number turns until 10. So, from turn 1, 2, and 3 will there, 4, then 5, 7, 9. In longer battles, it could theoretically move up to 5 squares and 4 squares from attacks. Uh, has so because the like fuselage has up is a range from 2 to 4, so theoretically it can go from 9 squares total theoretically on those turns to cover the entire thing. And if you get to 3 hearts, that reflect is just the greatest icing on the tank cake. Sorry, on the tank too. Reflect, it just makes it immune to magic damage, and it makes it that much harder to beat an arena before turn 2 ends. So if people, higher level people, will probably start putting some of the tank in there just because it really slows down other people from being able to kill the units. The cons, it starts out slow in the beginning of the battle, and by when I mean starts out slow, the agility bonus does not get applied until it has its turn. That is a con that you can turn into a pro, though. So that is not the worst thing out there. And it really needs that first dupe for that pursuit or double attack bonus to get all of that incredible power under its belt. Without it, it does become a lot worse unit overall. Will I pull on this unit? Slightly. The only reason is Jessica is going to be coming out soon, next week or 2 weeks from now, and I'm going to focus my resources on her instead of the slime tank. But I will do a little bit of pulls for the slime tank. It's a very powerful unit for both PvE and PvP. And if you love slimes, which I do, it's one of those fantastic units, and it really hurts me so. If I had better luck with Nocturnus, I would have more resources to pull for the Goo Tank. Because I don't have the resources, that's what's really hurting me on this. All right. So for the A unit on the tank banner, it is Automaton. It is a interesting unit. Its stats is good on HP and attack, decent on agility, especially for an A level, but its defense is a little low, so it can't somewhat becomes a glass cannon. The MP is well enough for what it needs to be. The first skill is something that is useful as it greatly increases the strength for 1 turn. Uh, Clutch Shoot is someone that can occasionally take a break, stun, which is very nice with 185 physical damage, which is only a range of 1. And the Temple Blow is a can lower Wisdom, which really helps against magic users and kind of lowers their skills, which is unique overall. This is a unit that I think really needs an element or an AoE range 1 skill. The big other issue is the leadership effect of the physical power for inorganic by 10% is just okay at best. First Awakening increases movement and attack for 1 turn after it attacks. So if you want to do a long range attack skill, then that would be fine as well, as it really increases the movement and attack, which gives it some pretty powerful punch. And the third and fifth Awakening allows for a 5% stun rate. This is a unit that isn't super powerful, but coming on a good banner like the tank is surprising because of its usefulness overall. If you are going for the tank, don't be disappointed if you get Automaton. It is a very good unit. I'm not going to say it is a top tier A unit. Most of those, believe it or not, we get usually for free. But this is a unit that has some very annoying skills that can be useful, but it has the ability to be not quite one shot, but close to it. It is a glass cannon because of that lower defense, but that attack is really, really powerful. And personally, the 185% physical damage and the occasional stun does make this unit very interesting for use. So, all in all, do I think this is a good unit? For a banner that's this good, it's surprising that they gave as good of an A unit as they did here. There are some pretty big weaknesses with it, but there's a lot of uses as well. And I'm actually kind of shocked that it is part of this one overall. So the next one is, and I'm going to talk about, is the Cave of Trials of that we're also getting and Prusalas. It is not is a little disappointing of a unit from the Cave of Trials 3 here, but it still has obviously a lot of uses, and it will be used in a lot of planned quote unquote free to play guides because you can 5-heart this at any time. It is a little hard to get through there. I'm not going to go through the Cave of Trials. It is just like the other 2 Cave of Trials. But the unit here has Kabuto, which gives 130 physical damage on one enemy and lowers defense power for 3 turns. This is very useful. Anything that lowers defense power is fantastic. Lightning Wave inflicts 180% physical zap damage to an enemy. Nothing very surprising there. It's a nice 3 range though, so it does give it some range there. And the last one's Cracker Whack, which gives 250% power overall. And it's this Lightning Shockwave instead of Lightning Wave, but I shortened it for my own personal thing. Stats, I do like its HP and defense very, very high. It is a pretty good, strong unit. Its agility and attack are also very good. So from a stats standpoint, it is top notch. From his skills, honestly, the Kabuto is pretty useful. It's just kind of weak for it. And the Cracker Whack, which can rarely stun. If it gets surrounded, the stun is pretty useful. But I would say if you can add another AoE skill or another debuff, it's great. And don't need to be AoE range 1. I'm sorry, that is a lack from over there. Its First Awakening increases movement attack for first turn. The leadership, though, is fairly saddening. Increases physical power of demons by 10%. Not really going to use that one very much. But from a unit standpoint, I would say it will be used. It will be planned on being used. But it is not as powerful as some of the freer A units that we have received beforehand or will be receiving later on. And some of the free units are actually now turning into S units, but that's a-okay. So going through that, we are going to now go with the last set here and the free units for Silver Week. do wish that there was an easier way to go here. There's going to be some nice, very big campaigns going on. We will have some free vouchers, up to 30 free pulls. Very, very nice. But what we're going to talk about are the free units, Silver Platypunk, and the what's going to be called the Silver Cape. I don't know why we got silver, but that's the way it is. Its skills, breathing. We've had this before. It makes enemies paralyzed sometimes. Can be useful. It is free. The other unit that before with breathing was a paid unit. And I know some people are like, well, why are we hating on this? It has uses because we can get these for free. With the free, that's much more important. You can get it to 5 hearts, which makes it useful. The third one, Awakening, increases numbness on breath overall. Second skill, White Bryce, crackle breath damage to all enemies. It's 65 MP, uses a lot of MP, but it does have enough overall, 343. And you'll be farming this enough to probably get that there, so that's all good. The last one's Crushing Silver. Crackle spell damage to all enemies and rarely lowering agility for 3 turns. This has other great uses as well. From the skills, it has good agility and wisdom is okay. Don't expect a lot of damage. Its main damage is going to be its breath. But its HP and defense are fairly good considering it is a more of a speed unit. Leadership effect is paralysis resistance plus 25. I already forgot about it. It is going to be a mildly forgettable leadership effect overall. Last skill, our last unit is Silver Swordsman. Has Remzuki from the Silver Week. MP consumption 5. 105% Zap physical damage power to all enemies. Second one's Phantom Stroke. 180% damage to all enemies and can move up to 4 squares. And Thunderlight, 100% zap power physical to an enemy. Overall, this is actually a interesting unit. It can move through obstacles. And the first awakening increases dodge rate for the first 3 turns. And the third awakening moves to 3 for the beginning of the battle. So this unit can actually do a lot of movement, especially early on, and has really high dodge rate. So it has some abilities to be really sneaky good, but you're playing with fire with the 850 HP and 225 defense. Its agility, though, is incredibly high with incredibly high attack. If you are willing to risk the biscuit here, that 461 defense and a 423 agility do make it very, very useful. Add another element, physical, if possible. The leadership is just increasing dead attack power by 10%. You're not going to be using that at all. But all in all, a very interesting unit. Something that I will be actually going for first. Others will be doing Silver Platypunk. They're both above average units. So the Silver Week is actually a pretty interesting and fun week overall. This has been a very long video, so I hope you guys enjoy. I will be doing a Silver Week notice in the next day or so. So good luck, everyone, and enjoy. And I hope you get a Goo Tank. Bye, everyone.